welcome to Bad Science. Whoa. Oh, I need to. Okay. I'm sorry. I was hearing an echo. Um, Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bad Science Sunday, where we take a comedic approach to debunking bad science over the internet. And today we have me and Vandy. Oh, my God.
Woo!
Oh, yeah. Should we clap for ourselves? I could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't done this in a while.
No. And
I wonder.
I always enjoy these streams.
Yeah, I did try to get something that would complement us both. But I
Well
want to
done.
start. I've been saying that I want to do this more often because I think we do really well together. And I've been feeling like we've been like, it's been like me and you, and we've been over talking the guest for the past couple of times. Um, so I don't
Wait,
know.
hold
It's just
on.
like, you know what?
Didn't
Let's just fucking do it live.
didn't we
What?
have didn't we have Oz and Jenna on recently? I feel like we don't overtalk Oz and Jenna.
No, it's
Yeah,
very hard to
it's
do
not
that.
it's not a problem.
No. All right. But today, just like to tell everybody what we have for them.
We have the title of the video is Scientists Say the Universe is in Someone's Brain hyphen and it's not looking good. This, I gotta say, they do not deliver on this title, in my opinion. Like directly. They discuss the topics, but like nobody is saying that the universe is, what does that mean? What does it mean? I don't know.
So I, who was it? The first time I heard about this, I want to say, one of the spatchcocks was talking about praise, I think, who believed that everything was in Yahweh's mind. And
Well,
yeah, and I'm like, where the fuck did he come up with that? And they were like, I
also
don't know. But like, they did know that it was a thing. They just didn't know where he got it from.
it's also,
Um,
but it's also like the point that will be articulated in this video. I feel like is way more respectable than anything that praise that I am has said.
100%. I will give it that.
It
But they take a lot of liberties with the liberty taking.
yeah, they do. There are going to be parts of this that I may be a little bit more willing to sort of engage with some of the things that they're saying, but I have to massage it. But there's also a lot of parts of it where I think your input on how minds work, you'll have a perspective that I do not have. So
Yeah, so I was rewatching it earlier today and I was just like, wow, I put a lot on myself. So they talk a lot about neuropsychology,
yeah,
which is not my field. I am a behavioral psychologist.
yeah.
So I can speak a lot to the what do you call it? The biology. And I don't know that it I don't know that it, like they're trying to hit the neuropsychology angles, but neuropsychology is just such a young field.
So
I,
you said that you can connect it a lot to the biology. I would have said that you could connect it a lot more to the I mean psychology is simplistic, but like the sociology, even a higher level than the biology. What they're doing is I think trying to connect it to the neurobiology and the cellular biology.
yes, they are
And
trying to do that.
yeah, and the biophysics of it. They're trying to do that
Yes.
and they're kind of sloppy. And okay, I'm quiet apparently. Let me see if I can address that.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just me.
Uh
Or I could turn myself down. I don't know
you,
what.
you all that is a possibility. I should be better. I put up my volume to 69. Nice.
Nice. Hey guys, is this chat will let us know. Is this better?
I hope so.
I know, right?
Uh
So yeah. Oh, I think you want to make it full screen.
I oh well, I
Oh
haven't
wait.
gone
Okay.
we
Sorry.
haven't
Go ahead.
finished the so this is from Fexel. Now, I'm actually surprised that Fexel only has 247,000 subscribers. I thought that they were one of these big sort of channels that uh has more than that, because this video from 2 years ago has 314 pi. Yesterday was Pi Day. Hooray.
Oh, that's
Um
right. I forgot about that.
thousand views. Yeah. So yeah. But yeah, let's I we can just start at the beginning, right?
We've all heard comparisons like how atoms resemble solar systems and how the structure of the universe is similar to neurons in our brains.
So
I have we all heard that?
we've the first one is very common,
Okay.
like, things going around a center and the sort of orbit model.
Hmm.
Saying it's like a solar system is a little bit rude, but I don't know. You would know more about the second one. I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, the claim was that everybody has heard that, the universe is like neurons in the brain. And I'm like,
Eh,
I don't know that everybody has.
yeah, I would agree with that.
It's interesting to note that the number of stars in a galaxy, galaxies in the universe, atoms in a cell, and cells in a living being are all around the same huge number, between 10 to the power of 11 to 10 to the power of 14.
So one, that is, I suppose, interesting. Two, 10 to the 11 through 10 to the 14, that is 100 billion versus 100 trillion. It is, you're spanning a factor of 1,000 in size. That could be okay. I like that. It could be okay. Is it meaningful?
And I'm trying to figure out what he mean, like why he's bringing the stars in. So, does he think that the stars are like the electron, like the impulses in the brain? Like, I don't really understand. Or I guess, well, the term for it is action potentials. So you know how they fire down the brain
I
to the
don't. You have
synapse.
to tell me how that works.
Actually, you know what? Oh fuck, Kelly's in the house.
In the
You know what?
house.
Oh hell, why
Wait,
are you
what?
like this, Evie Max?
What's
Okay,
that?
so Detroit Atheist Queen has gifted us 10 cult members. I love her. And so those went to Tesson, Mapleson, Blaster Master. There's a name I recognize. MW777, Geo Sam, um, Winston M, Philip Kelly Benton, Peter Martin, Shelley Morrison, Supercritical Snake. So, welcome, cultists. Please enjoy your tapioca weasels, your nitties, and vaginas.
Without saying which one I recognized one of those.
Yeah, I could say two. It feels like they're like finding non-channel members.
Yeah, they're like people in the chat, like my unfinished journey. Nah, fuck you.
I don't know that any of these people have ever chatted. I mean, if
Uh-huh.
like maybe they're people that like were raided and then they left immediately, but like I don't know. But I mean, they're welcome to come back and chat. We have fun over here.
Let me know if my sound is better, by the way, Chad.
Oh, they haven't said anything yet.
So probably it is.
All
Uh,
right, so I do want to. I'm gonna try to see if I can share. Can I share? No. Remove from scene. Oh, okay. I'm going to delete you for just a second. All right. So this is what like it looks like an EEG. Neurons firing in the brain. Looks just
wow.
like the solar system.
No, it does. Okay, well, that wasn't exactly the analogy. They were saying that atoms look like the solar system, and that this looks like a galaxy
Oh, the galaxy.
map.
You're right. You're right.
Both of which are wrong. Um, what that looked like to me was night vision of like Operation Desert Storm.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, those are the things that we see in the brain. And so that's when I'm like, is he saying that the stars are like the action potential? So the action potential are the electrical impulses that go down to the synapse, turn into chemicals, and then go into the next neuron. Um,
I think what he was saying was more big numbers, therefore amazement. So
I guess. Yeah. I mean, that would make sense.
this is a thing that respect, and this is going to come up later again because another very respectable physicist um said some silly things, but this reminded me of Paul Dirac's large number hypothesis. So Dirac was a titan of a physicist in the 1930s.
Hmm.
One of the people very critical to the formulation, particularly of relativistic quantum mechanics. Um, he noticed that there, if you look at the amount of if you take ratios of various things that show up, the strength of gravity versus the age of the universe versus other physical, concepts and stuff, that there seems to be a rule that doesn't have any other like clear reason. This is not a well this is not something that has aged well. Okay? Of
Okay.
all of the things that Dirac came up with, this has not aged well, but they're at least referencing something that like could, because the thing is, if you notice that, oh, in all our physical theories, the ratio of this really important constant to this really important constant is always exactly 13, and that happens over 15,000 constants, then you start to have to look at, okay, what's going on with the number 13 and the laws of physics here. He's making this off of, frankly, a very small sample size, because when you look at ratios of huge numbers, you only have a sample size of like 10 to the negative 100 to 10 to the positive 100 before things become unphysical. Right? That's a very rough estimation.
Okay, real quick. I do want to acknowledge the skeptic Havenry.
Hello, motherfucker.
Um, so yeah, which brought over Ember. Ember, I hope you had a great stream. Thank you for sharing your community with us. Today we're talking about how the universe is all in the mind of God.
All right, let me bring the
They have proof.
back.
They have numbers and shit.
That's
And I know how
exactly
you
what
love numbers, so I brought the fire tonight.
Boom.
About 77% of the brain is water, while about 69% of the universe is filled.
One, nice. Two, 77 and 69 are not close enough to be impressive.
And it's kind of funny to me. Like, I think he thinks the brain is only filled with neurons, which it's not. They're glia cells, GLIA, which are more than, I believe it's more than half of the brain. So it's the non neurons. So the neurons are the things that communicate with each other, the neural pathways that I'm always talking about.
Okay.
The glial cells do not have electrical impulses. They,
But it's not everything else, or is it everything else? Because you would
pretty
have
much.
okay, circulatory the circulatory system, you have vascular veins and shit, and those are not neurons, but they are in the brain because obviously the neurons also need oxygen. Are
Yeah, and
those
when I say
glia
glial
cells?
cells and neuron, like there's a couple of different types of both. So it's not like there's just two. Like there's a bunch that
Wait, hold on. Are you saying that brains are complicated, Maya?
I am.
How dare you?
Let me see. Types of brain cells. Brain cells consist primarily of neurons and glial cells. Yeah, I mean that's what Google is saying too. But again, there's like a bunch of fucking Yeah, neurons, astrocytes, ugly god dendrocytes, microglia, ependymal. I haven't done this in 20 years, I'm sorry, and Schwann cells, but they are all types of neurons and glia cells. That I remembered. Might do my biology professor proud. But probably not, but
But they all exist in this sort of big empty blue space
right,
with
right. Which,
lightning happening in the background.
yeah, which is
Um,
noticeably absent in the universe.
well, I mean, I will say there's a lot of empty space in the universe. There's not that much empty space in the brain. It's pretty
Right.
much all
But according to this guy, I mean, and I just based on what he's showing us in this AI
I assume.
mini,
I mean, this like does this branch go anywhere right here?
yeah,
No, I don't think so.
yeah,
Or this one?
yeah.
It literally just
That's
took
definitely
twigs.
AI. Oh, and it
These
branches off. I love
yeah,
that.
these
So
are
it doesn't know
literally
if it wants to
twigs.
be a neuron or a tree.
Yeah. It's like look at this. This is clearly a stick that just stuck
Right.
out.
Yeah, that's
with
great.
dark energy. These
Okay, hold on.
are, while about 69% of the universe is filled with dark energy. These are both passive materials that have indirect roles in their respective structures.
So the other thing that he was saying besides dark energy was that water is a passive material that has indirect roles in its structure, which there's probably issues with that, but it could be worse. Dark energy is not a material.
It's energy, right?
Yeah.
Does
Well,
he
well,
think dark matter and dark energy are the same thing?
uh, no. And actually, I think that they are saying dark energy when they mean dark energy here.
Okay.
But then they're saying that it's a material because they don't know what it is. But they're talking about or I think they're going to talk about, and the idea that I think they're getting at is sort of emptiness. And dark energy is a property of space time. It is a property of space, even if you don't have anything. These words get a little bit loosey goosey. Like there, you still have space and time, so it's not a philosophical nothing. Don't at me. Um, and it that does have properties and behavior and dynamics that are described by relativity. Space produces more of itself. This is a weird thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my head around that.
It's very it took me a long time to get to my present level of understanding, which is not.
No, I get it.
Hopefully it's better than all of yours, but if it's not, then I'm bad at my job. Unless Leo's here. Leo might get it back. Yeah, and he is. Fuck.
Okay, okay, we'll do Leo if we just have done here. But yeah, when I was trying to figure out like the universe is expanding, and then I'm like, but like there's no such thing as nothing. So that means there's got to be something that as it's expanding, there's something there. I don't know if it's pushing or what's happening, but like there's not it's not nothing because nothing isn't a thing. So then I was trying to figure out what it is, and then it's like, yeah,
it
it
it it
it's
won't.
making more of itself, and I'm like, what does that
It,
mean?
that
But
actually,
okay,
I can explain that.
okay,
I can explain.
yay.
If
Wait,
you
can I do this real quick? Just get it out of the
yes,
way because
sorry.
Left Handed Jedi is giving us $2, and we thank him so much. And he says, "Gosh, numbers is that a thing? Um, you either get numbers or pictures of Nikola Tesla, and
I
that's
mean, poor
how
Canelis
you
does.
know that it's a truth." All right, and Dr. Tapioca Weasel is now going to tell us how space works.
So, so in general relativity, you it is very natural and emerges naturally from the mathematics that expansion or contraction is some which is just negative expansion is a thing that works mathematically. And so if you want and what that means is that if you have two objects, they're very far away from each other, the universe is otherwise empty. okay? And you have two objects that are far enough away that the gravitational interaction between them is totally negligible. They do have to be massive because otherwise they would be moving at the speed of light. But we can ignore the gravitational interaction. They start at rest. They're not moving with respect to each other. And then you just run the clock of the universe forward. Those two objects will move. They don't move apart. The distance between them becomes larger. They don't locally move. Space is generated everywhere. Space produces itself. That is what dark energy is if you have two things and nothing else is going on and they're originally 10 times, like 10 distance units. It happens because that's how space works.
Oh.
Literally the best I got.
Hey, I mean, it's better than I got.
It obeys certain equations, and those equations allow there to be a thing which can be a constant. It can be the cosmological constant, and so far everything we see seems to imply that it is constant. So that if you have an amount of space, then on top of everything else that's going on, space is produced between those things. This is what happened in for example, like in like the Big Bang to some extent. Now I'm starting to get a little bit more loosey-goosey and hand-wavy, but that's why people describe the Big Bang as an expansion rather than an explosion. An explosion occurs, you're in a space and things move apart. An expansion is you have a space and then you just fucking add more everywhere. And that's why they use the example of the balloon. Because when you have a balloon and you have two dots on a balloon and you blow it up, those things locally are not moving.
Yeah, the balloon thing I got.
But they...
I mean, well, for a reference of understanding, I understand it's not what's the universe is flat to the best of our calculations.
Indeed,
which
it is.
Does not make sense to me. But
what that means is that big ass triangles have interior angles of 180 degrees. If you take 3 points and you draw lines between them, then the angles add up to 180 degrees. It's actually why that's important is a deeper question, but that's what it means.
No, yeah, I'm sure you could geek out all night. I'm sure, and like because it's again not intuitive.
Indeed, if y'all understand this like way better than me, then y'all should be physicists, which is why Leah should be a physicist.
This leads to some intriguing questions. Could we be like cells in a giant creature, but on a planetary scale that hasn't realized its existence yet?
So again, like he's showing how the brain works, how neurons fire in the brain. We don't see this in space. So even saying it kind of looks like a brain, it would have to be a dead brain because we just don't see stars acting like this.
Yeah.
If in fact the stars are supposed to be the action potential.
What is correct, because the thing about brains is they send signals that are sort of like directed and have in the larger context, like, you know, some sort of purpose that they've evolved to for one reason. To the extent that stars send signals, it's literally just because they emit light in all directions, and technically light's a signal. That's the depth of it.
Yeah, but I mean,
don't have the same
act like signals in the brain.
Correct. To be fair, how signals in the brain act is an exceptionally complicated topic.
Yeah.
But it far more complicated and constrained in specific ways than how do stars emit light. Because a star, you've got crap on the star, and there's like a
and then
million
you have light.
and then you have light, and it just goes
at the speed of light.
And when another star gets hit by light, you know what it doesn't do? It doesn't incorporate that do some sort of processing that evolved over time, and then send out another signal
Right.
that is a sort of, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it sends out other signals,
Sure, sure.
but just because
It
everything's
doesn't like,
shining.
yeah, it doesn't receive it as a message, and
Exactly.
which would mean that it can't influence something else to act
Yeah.
based on the message
Yes.
that you're seeing.
Yes. The word signal is not appropriate to use.
Right, exactly.
Whereas in the brain, the word signal is
Yeah.
appropriate to use.
As
On a
yeah,
planetary
as a metaphor, if you will. We're not trying to. I don't know. I just keep thinking of like people who think DNA is a code, and I'm like, these are just
Oh,
descriptors. They are all just biological processes.
yeah.
scale that hasn't realized its existence yet. How could we even find out? It's very difficult to answer a question like this directly, because we aren't 100% certain of what consciousness and self-awareness actually are.
I mean, okay, I don't.
They're not wrong.
They're not right. So, I mean, from a personal
Fair.
perspective, we are, right? We're all experiencing, conscious, which, all of our waking hours are, consciousness. Sleep is considered to be a state of unconscious. And
Oh, I thought you
then
were going to say sleep is for the weak.
feel that way. But we don't have like one solid definition of it. Like, I mean, I could dumb it down to say it's awareness and perception of your reality. And it,
What is awareness? What is perception? You get it's
right. And so I think that the problem with coming up with a definition is that when you, again, psychology is, what do you call neuropsych is super young. Like we're pretty much
yes.
seeing the birth of it now. The bulk of it started, I want to say, in the 90s.
Yeah,
Um,
it's way younger than all of this relativity and quantum stuff,
oh yeah,
which as far as human history goes, quantum mechanics is 101 years old.
nice. Well,
Yeah.
congrats, quantum mechanic scientist. I don't know. But yeah, like this is super new. And as with anything, when you're studying, and again, it's coming kind of out of my field, which is behavioral psych. So, 100 years ago, this would have been Freud's lane, Skinner's lane, Wundt's lane, because like the only way you can that was thought of that you can study consciousness is through the experience of conscious beings. And so I think back in the 80s, there was like a bunch of was it physicist?
I don't know
Penrose
what
is
those are.
you like Penrose, right?
Yeah,
Well,
Penrose. I
he
didn't
was
realize he was dabbling in this in the 80s.
talking about it. So
Okay.
it was him. Oh God, I forget the names. I can see the faces, but there's a number of like bigwigs that were like
There
excited about it and talking, which got the funding. And so that was in the 80s. They got the funding and started doing stuff in the 90s. And so this is kind of and so now they're doing things. But like with anything dealing with the brain, almost anything you'd want to do is illegal, unethical. um so it psychology is all finding things out in psychology is always a slow process, which is fine. We want to make sure we're doing everything legally and ethically. But also, with it being so young, I think that we are trying to shoehorn everything into this one definition. I think that I think they're going to splinter and that we're going to have different
yeah.
aspects, definitions, depending on the aspect
Is
that they're studying.
Do you think that an analogy to the definition of species in biology is apt here? Because you've got like the biological species concept, but there are a lot of useful, applicable definitions of species that don't necessarily apply to that, because I think it's fundamentally something that we've not yet figured out a
Right.
way of formalizing,
Yeah.
um because it's, and which, for the record, may be literally impossible. There are because if you want to formalize something, that means that you're going to put it into a system of formal logic.
Hmm.
There are statements in formal logic that are true and provably unprovable, which is wild. But it's true.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think that I think that it's going to be an umbrella term, honestly. And depending on what aspect of consciousness you're studying is going to, you'll need to use the definition of that. Because right now we have a lot of people that are just studying like brainwaves. Other people are studying sensory and perception. There are other people that are, when this part of the brain lights up, what does the person do? So there's so many different aspects of consciousness. I don't think it's that we don't know. I think that we haven't formalized a definition. I don't think that it means that we don't know what to say that we don't know what it is. Therefore, it could be anything, which is
Yeah, yeah,
what
that's
they're
not
getting
true.
at.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
that's not.
that's bullshit.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
So that's
Um,
my contention with it.
yeah, yeah, and I completely agree. But I think that there is a a range between when, knowing something and having it formalized every step so that it satisfies a math proof. That's about like the final form of formalized, constrained, very precise. We really do understand every single part of what this means until you get to the whole system of how that all works. Um, but that if you don't have that, that doesn't mean you know nothing.
Right.
There's a vast
Right.
gulf
Yeah.
between that
Yeah, exactly.
and being like, oh, well, what's beyond the observable universe?
But we are certain about a few physical things that can help us give the best answer to this question we possibly can, including the age of the universe, the duration over which various objects have been able to communicate with each other.
What?
The word communicate is a very problematic word to use there. We're I would also say that I would not use the word certain to describe our knowledge of the age of the universe. We have very, very good ideas. We can have a high amount of confidence, because we have models that have been verified. I just wouldn't use the word certain because I'm a scientist. But the word communicate is dangerous to use without formalizing it.
I don't understand what he means by communicate.
Neither does he. Yeah.
The size of the largest gravitationally bound structures, and the number of signals exchanged between bound and unbound structures of different sizes. By conducting these calculations and comparing them with the processes observed in even the simplest brain-like structures, we can approximate an answer to the question. This approach
To what question?
I that's
I watched this video before and I was like, oh, it's probably because I like interrupted and like judged it, which may be true,
I
but
guess he's still talking about what is consciousness, but yeah, it was
that
very
does not
ambiguous.
answer that question. I
Yeah.
don't think you can answer that question in the way that he wants an answer to it.
Yeah, it's not going to be like what is it? I'd say what is a tree, but like that's not. Um, I
You dig down on anything deep enough and you
mhm,
run into the same problem because
yeah,
that's how knowledge works. Um, but consciousness becomes problematic at a much higher level.
yeah, yeah, and yeah. I mean, there's not going to be like this is this, and I don't. Which is great for Flexel, because he can just start spinning out these AI videos like, nonstop because it's like, well, you don't know what it is. So it could be this. And I'm like, theoretical physics can get away with a lot of shit because like they actually do try to back it up. But AI slop is a whole different thing. And I hate the what if. Like it is really a god of the gaps.
Yeah. Also, Leo, it just scrolled out of view, but Leo was like, "Let's not talk about the hard problem of consciousness. We just got him to sleep."
I love that.
Ugh.
Allows us to determine whether large-scale cosmic sentient structures might exist within
I'm not an astrophysicist. Why do you like this, Kip?
the universe. There is consciousness within the universe, certainly. You and I are proof of that. As
I'm proof of that. I don't know about Maya.
I mean,
human beings, we
wait, so he says there's consciousness in the universe or
Yeah.
within the universe, certainly.
within the universe?
Yeah.
I don't like the way that's phrased. But, I mean, yeah, okay, there are sentient beings in the universe, sure. Um, I kind of feels like he's trying to get to maybe a collective consciousness.
He's getting, I think, to an idea that becomes more described later on. And I sent you a message. I don't know if you mentioned, not like during the show,
Okay.
but about consciousness. And it kind of sounds like some things that I've heard somebody like Aaron Ross say.
Oh, I did see
And I'm
that.
like,
Yeah.
Aaron Ross got some like kind of weird views on this particular topic
So I've never
because
heard Aaron talk about it. Like
he
I
doesn't he
didn't.
doesn't talk about it a lot. It's not a hill he dies on.
Like, what does he say though?
He says that consciousness is a spectrum that, and I could be wrong about this, that like kind of everything has, but definitely kind of everything living has.
Okay, because I was
And
wondering if he was talking about, is it? I think it's panpsychism, which
yeah,
is
well, because like he thinks my understand. I could be wrong. Don't at me. It could be that Aaron thinks that like eukaryotes and bacteria and stuff have some level of consciousness, um, and even potentially, and I'm less confident about this, even things like rocks have some extremely, almost trivially non-existent, potentially,
yeah.
level of
We're kind of
consciousness.
getting into
It, it
panpsychism
it's
here.
the most new age thing I've ever heard come out of his mouth.
Yeah, when you get into New Age, they take a hard stance on panpsychism, which is like there's consciousness in everything, and it doesn't manifest the way like
Yeah.
like what is it?
What do you,
Like panpsychism is yeah, like everything is conscious, and different things have a different form of consciousness. Um, and I've heard that in the New Age a lot, but I don't. It's
it
not a scientifically
I will
proven thing.
say my, I've only heard him allude to this position a few times. It is not one. Well, okay, well, I mean, whenever Aaron Ra talks about anything, he talks about it with the same gusto he talks about everything with.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's not a hill that he would die on. He's not his position on the specifics of evolution are not to be compared to his statement,
No, he's good on
as I
evolution,
remember it, that even amoeba are conscious.
but yeah, I mean, I you could probably sell me on bacteria and amoeba being some form of conscious,
But
like
it
really
start.
low levels.
It's like, what does that mean?
Just aware of yourself and your surroundings.
What does that mean?
Oh,
Because if you, how do you define awareness without consciousness? I
self
guess.
well, self awareness, yeah, like that. Kind, I guess it's kind of that. I think, therefore, I am, but like thinking, I think is a higher order than bacteria and amoeba are demonstrating. I could be wrong. I don't.
I I think
study
it would
those,
depend on
but
the definition of thinking, right?
You and I are proof of that. As human beings, we are self-aware creatures with a strong sense of what's going on around us,
I mean, Strong's doing a lot of work there that I don't agree with.
and we interact with each other. Some philosophers float the solipsistic notion that the self is all one can know exists, but our practical, day-to-day interaction with each other tells us otherwise.
I don't even know why that was there.
Because he
This
knew
is a
that
segue.
otherwise I would come up with an actually hard solipsism is a thing that people could. I actually totally respect that he put that in there because literally the sentence before he
Wow.
said that, I was like, actually hard solipsism is definitely a thing that philosophers will go to. And he's like, yeah, this is a thing, but like, come on. Which, for the record, is literally the best way to respond to hard solipsism. Okay,
yeah.
you're
It's like,
technically
okay,
right, but
I
come on.
recognize that you're in the room, but anyway.
It's the equivalent. It's similar to the problem of induction. The problem of induction is that inductive reasoning can never actually justify a position because you don't have that thing. Just because something has always worked out this one way doesn't mean it will again. But like it fucking probably does though, right? Like so
Leo is not having it.
okay, well.
All right, moving on. Sorry I brought it up.
Singular or plural, there is consciousness
I don't think I'm talking about philosophy of science. I think I'm talking about philosophy of
in the universe.
I'll stop.
That much is clear. But a big question arises in our minds as we ponder the idea of consciousness. How far does it extend? Sure, we don't know what consciousness is, but we do know that the only things we're reasonably confident can think, which is the brain, have a lot of connections and send a lot of information.
So we got the consciousness down to the brain. That's great.
Well, he equated it with thinking.
I don't like that.
I also don't like that. I am not equipped to argue against it.
Same, but I mean, yeah, same. Because again, not my field, but I don't know. I'm not. I guess, I mean, if you're just talking about thinking as processing,
Then
like
that opens up a lot.
like if you have like a bacteria amoeba and it's just like, oh, something's here, like it's just sensing that something's here. Like, is that a thought? I don't
Is
know.
a colliding ball getting hit by another ball processing the fact that it gets hit according to the laws of it? I don't know what to do with it.
Right. I kind of feel like you need a brain, proto brain, something to think. But again, not my field, so I'm not going to go down there. I am not willing to say that you're not conscious if you like. I'm not willing to marry the two at this time, but I can be swayed.
If I keep talking, I'm going to give Leo a stroke. So
back and forth.
Surprised Leo hasn't already called 911.
I mean, yeah.
Through those connections. Even leaving aside that we don't understand consciousness, high connectivity, and rapid signaling seem conducive to thinking. That the universe is structurally similar to the brain raises the question.
What does that mean?
Web-like patterns. Best I got.
Okay, fine. I will give him that. I mean, well, it's undeniable.
Yeah.
But
it's also not that interesting. Yeah, literally exactly the example I was going to give. It was like, hold on, do spider webs think? Do nets think? Like a fishing net. Does that think?
I could bedazzle a fishing net and it would better resemble the universe than the brain. What the? I don't know. It feels like a lot of reaching. I could be
also the brain is going to be more uniform than the mass distribution of the universe on several scales, because like you can approximate the brain physically as being a bag of water, and that's going to work way better than approximating vast emptiness of space as being a bag of water or anything else.
I just, I really don't understand what he thinks a brain is. Um,
Oh, I don't think he thinks a brain is anything. I don't think there's a lot of thought going on here.
okay.
Of whether it has similar thinking capacities. It seems that both the universe and the brain engage in the reception and integration of information. In essence, the level of complexity and information processing found within our brains may manifest at both the grandest and most minuscule scales of the universe.
Why do you think that? Like, this
Well,
is a claim. Like, it may manifest at the grandest. Based on what?
based on bullshit that he hasn't even quite gotten to, uh, which is bad bullshit. But also, what he technically said, I can't even steel man that because he said our brains might manifest at the biggest scales. There's just because you believe that the biggest scales might exhibit sort of brain-like structure, and we can have that conversation. We can't have the conversation that it's our brains. That's bullshit.
I mean, you would need. I don't think people understand how science works.
True.
There's just a really big push by grifters to say that science is an opinion, and that scientists start with their preconceived. All scientists are presuppers, and so they can have videos like this, and it's just like, well, what if? And I'm like, okay, that's great. That's a thought. That is certainly a thought. What would it look like if you had to falsify it? What would an experiment look like? Oh, is this not?
I I I didn't want to rush into it too fast, so I waited a little bit. Sorry.
The idea that the universe is kind of like a living thing, such as an organism or a brain, isn't
Kind
new.
of.
It
Yeah, no, I mean a lot of bad ideas aren't new.
goes way back, at least to 500 BC, when Anaxagoras first thought of it. He was an ancient Greek philosopher who suggested that there's a smart force called nous, guiding the universe to become more organized and
I'm not
purposeful.
familiar with this nous, but
Me
I do
neither.
want to welcome Nick Suter and the End Time family. Hey,
Hello, motherfucker.
Nick, welcome on in, and thank you for the raid. Today we are learning how the universe is the mind of God, and we're all in it. Isn't that great?
It sounds horrifying.
All right, so I'm going to look up nous.
Apparently, that's not how you say it according to
Noose?
noise ending.
What's he saying?
Is it noose? I
Noose?
would have said noose. Yeah,
Okay.
like couscous.
The mind or intellect. A concept from classical philosophy, sometimes equated to intellect or intelligence, for the faculty of the human mind necessary for understanding what is true or real. So is it like, yeah, philosophy. Like, this is completely philosophical.
For shame.
That there's a smart force called nous, guiding the universe to become
Okay.
more organized and purposeful. Nowadays, we might think of nous as the idea of
Oh,
At least be consistent, motherfucker.
wow.
Like
Totally
at
not
least
an AI voice.
at least when I pronounce things wrong, I do it consistently. For example, watch Leo freak out in chat when I say the word
Oh God.
for you.
I mean, is that a play button?
things organizing themselves. Anaxagoras' theory isn't exactly how we see things in modern science, but as we learn more about reality, it's making us think again about whether the universe might be similar to living things and the networks they create through evolution.
How does one connect to the other?
I don't know.
Does he know? Oh
No,
my God.
no is the answer to your question.
I okay, so wait, let me go back here. So a concept from classical okay, so equated to intelligence or intellect for the faculty of the human mind necessary for understanding what's true or real. How does that tie back to the universe? Like he just like Emma Thorne
Probably
was
via fast Fourier transforms. Sorry, I'm just trying to give Leo a
no, you're
stroke.
fine. So Emma Thorne was going over I don't know, there was like three winners to an AI movie contest or a film festival in one of her recent bids. And it was, so AI can only go so long. So there's all these like moving clips and it was just, I don't know, it is really jumpy and sometimes they made it work, usually they didn't, and it kind of reminds me of this like but like in the thought form, right? So I can get past the AI jumps just because I know what it's doing, but like the thoughts should be cohesive. Like you should have a script that you write that that when it's speaking it should follow. It shouldn't be like, you know today it was rainy. Oh, I see a pig. Like I feel like nothing has anything to do with the other thing.
And this chat is why I don't make content.
Wait, did somebody say something?
No, I'm just saying you require a level of internal coherence that I am incapable of providing.
You make way more sense than this video is making right now.
Well, yeah, but you're really good at finding the bottom of the barrel, Maya.
Fair.
Yeah.
In August 2022, theoretical physicist Sabine Hossenfelder wrote an article for Time magazine titled, "Maybe the Universe Thinks, Hear Me Out." In the article, she points out
So you said
similarities
that
between...
you've never read this article,
I
right?
have not read this article. If
Oh, and she starts
time
out strong. Our universe contains about 200 billion galaxies. That's a number.
that is a number, Sabina Hoffensfelder is a trained um, physicist who has written many papers that academic papers that are not necessarily things that I agree with, but are things that like deserve to be read with some level of seriousness. Sabina has most of us, I think, will recognize her evolution in the last few years on YouTube. If we separate from that,
She
then
she used to be really good.
yes, and there are certain topics that I think she can still be really good on. I think that she has um, become susceptible to the same,
Grift.
yeah, because all of the incentives seem to point that way. Um, when she says something absurd and controversial, it
Yeah, that gets
helps.
more views
It
and
gets more views.
probably, yeah, so you get more money from YouTube and they're probably throwing money at her. It's like, yeah, science, fuck them.
Also, she does have criticisms um, that about the physics, the fundamental theoretical physics community that I think are legitimate. I'm not a fundamental theoretical physicist. I am also, side note, not an astrophysicist. I'm an atomic. I am an AMO, atomic, molecular, and optical experimentalist. And I'm not that great at that either. Um, so one of my issues with like the way Sabina and other people talk about it is they make it sound like everything in physics is fundamental theoretical physics, and that is just emphatically not true. Um, the vast majority of it is more targeted, precise things in fairly well-established frameworks. The work that I do is kind of talking, like figuring out how the Schrodinger equation applies to these particular systems. The Schrodinger equation, people have thought about extensions to it, but it's pretty much still the law of the land in most situations.
Oh, hello? Is it just me? Okay, you left, right? Not me?
Is it
Or
me?
did I leave?
I didn't notice either of us leaving.
Oh,
So who
okay.
knows?
Maybe it was me.
Oh
But yeah,
shit. I can check my.
oh, well, while you're doing that, for $5, Jester says, at the end of the day, you learn more chewing on your own brain than listening to this guy. This exercise is about strengthening yourself against face palms. I agree. Thank you, Jester.
Huh.
What?
My internet looked like it was fairly stable, but who knows? Could be wrong.
Okay. Jur is saying it was Tap that left. He hates us. These are
Yeah,
facts.
everybody is saying that I dropped out, so that's fair.
Oh, and real quick,
The structure of the universe.
Jester is returning to the fold for 25 months. Oh my god.
Boom.
Jester, please enjoy your tapioca weasels, your nitties, and your jesters. Hey.
I really don't like that Unfinished Journey is asking Kip if Kip is saying that Vandy is a fundamentalist astrophysicist, because one,
Well, I mean, obviously.
fundamentalist astrophysicist is not a term.
We've got bingo linked. Hope all are enjoying.
I hate all of you.
And the human nervous system. Just like our nervous system, the universe has a highly interconnected and hierarchical organization. The galaxies, estimated to be around 200 billion, aren't randomly spread out, but are grouped together by gravity into clusters, which then form even larger clusters. These clusters are connected by galactic filaments, long threads of galaxies. These mammoth structures
The last 15 seconds are mostly true.
Okay, yeah.
exhibit
mostly.
dendritic networks, much like neurons in the human brain, with vast voids punctuating the spaces between them, creating an awe-inspiring celestial web.
And we call those voids BMW drivers.
Wait, seriously?
Zooming out.
No, I'm just recycling a joke that I learned from Al that I thought was funny. Yeah, I also miss 2021, Sabina.
Yeah.
I think we all do.
Right? Like God. I remember like not missing a video but hey, Physics Girl is back. So there's that.
Man, oh God, if I could choose one person to go back in time and shield from COVID, it would be Physics Girl, 100%.
Yeah.
Because,
she's amazing, yeah.
She's amazing, and
up to see the entire cosmos. These structures resemble the connectome of the brain.
Is that how you pronounce that? I thought it was connectome.
What did he say? Connectome?
Connectome, and then he's about to say connectomy, which feels less bad to me. But I was like, I messaged you this when I got to that point in the video. I was like,
remember that?
This was before I had been like, yes, this is a good video.
Oh, okay. I do. Okay, I'm sorry. I do remember that.
Leo says
I didn't know what
no.
you were talking about, and I'm like, huh?
But fair enough. But Leo, I always thought this is one of those words that I've only ever read and never heard,
and that's what I was gonna say. I don't remember hearing it out loud, but I could be wrong.
It's funny because like the biggest example in my life of like somebody like just not knowing how to pronounce a word was my friend growing up, very smart guy, thought that the word epitome was pronounced epitome, and I was like, it's not. But that means if you apply that exact same lesson to this word, then connectome would be connectomy, right? So I don't actually know.
which is the complete wiring diagram formed by neurons and their connections. In the brain, neurons also cluster together, forming larger groups, and are connected by axons, which transmit electrical signals across the cognitive system. Hossenfelder discusses a study by a physicist and a neuroscientist that carefully examined the similarities between the cosmic web and the connectomy.
Does
Right?
she?
Uh,
I don't. I just.
yes. I mean, so if
Okay.
you look at the bottom of the screen,
Uh-huh.
it has the word connectome and or connectome and or connectomy.
All right. Let's see how this thing is pronounced. Hmm. Connectome.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
They found that based on shared mathematical properties, these structures are remarkably alike.
Can you please give more details?
This led her to ponder whether the universe could be capable of thinking. However, having a similar structure doesn't necessarily...
Okay. It's just a fundamental misunderstanding of how the brain works.
It's also it's one of these things where I think fundamentally you need to have what you need to start with is a definition of thinking. Or maybe
Oh,
you don't need to start with that, but you need to have it by this point in the conversation.
yeah, sure. I'll give you that.
If you're going to say yes, this is thinking, or no, this is not thinking, you should have we can disagree on it. As long as you provide one, I could be like, okay, I'm going to hold my disagreement until after you've presented the rest of your case. And I can even say, I don't agree with your definition, but if I accept your definition, then I accept your conclusion. All of these are totally reasonable ways of thinking about things. Nobody ever does that.
No, and I kind of feel like he's conflating consciousness with sentience with thinking. Like at different parts. Or maybe he's conflating. They're different things. And if we're going to talk about a universe that, again, if it's just conscious, I guess you can get into panpsychism. If it's sentient, feels more like parapsychology. But I don't know. Everybody
Also,
hit that like button.
If the topic of the video is a conscious universe, then I feel like we need to have Logic and or Armando Calvo on.
Oh, God. Did you watch that live where he was talking to him?
I've watched a couple lives where he's talked to. I watched the live where he talked to Armando's military friend.
Oh, I didn't see that.
So Armando has a military. Armando came out with a video being like, "I have a friend that I met in the military who recognized me because they all refer to each other by last names." And he was like, "Wait, are you the same Armando Calvo that Logic talks about?" And then he said a bunch of things, and the guy had to be like, "Yeah."
Oh, God. Yeah, no, I wouldn't admit to that either.
Yeah. I will say, one of the conclusions was that this guy would, he would count on Armando to have his back in a situation that required it. Unrelated to the other stuff, but yeah, is important.
Mean the universe can think. Just like a dead brain doesn't have thoughts, the universe needs more than just its structure to think. Thinking requires neuronal signaling, where electrical messages move around the brain.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah.
Do we see that in the universe?
We do not. We do not. Although, to be fair, does a single neuron see that in the brain? Does a single neuron see anything, even metaphorically speaking?
So what's our supercluster? Is it Laniakea?
That's like the alt. That yeah. We're in the Vega cluster.
Mhm.
Vega might also be a supercluster, and then there are but yeah, Laniakea or something like that. I could have pronounced that wrong. God,
Yeah,
I
good.
hate it when Leah's in the chat.
Yeah, it's something like that. And so like if that was like an, I don't know, would that be the neuron or
No, the God, what would be the neuron? A galaxy, I guess. I guess. Yeah.
I feel like any way you parse it, we should still see the action potentials pass through.
Yes. There is nothing analogous to action potentials. There is nothing analogous to a so my ignorant understanding of the idea behind action potentials is
Hmm.
that there is a electrochemical
Yeah.
like imbalance and threshold, and once you pass that threshold it activates certain signaling behaviors of
Neurotransmitters.
of the like the neuron. It's got a thing that like receives information,
Yeah.
and then if all of those electrolytes and electrochemical signals surpass a certain threshold, then it activates a electrochemical reaction in the neuron that then pushes it out to other things.
Hmm.
That nothing like that thresholding and then output behavior,
Hmm.
nothing like that occurs in galactic like
Right.
gravitational
Yeah, we
webs.
just don't see anything like
I
that.
I don't even the idea that it is a web of things that are exchanging um
So a dead
signals in
brain.
the broader sense, not in the specific sense of like a signal, but information interactions. What they're doing is they're interacting with each other. Yes,
Hmm. Yeah.
galaxies interact with each other. They emit light. The light is
Sure.
absorbed by other galaxies. Mostly it's gravitational. All of that, but no.
Vesta Freya has a question,
Well, Vesta Freya doesn't have my best interests at heart.
but she wants to know. These are questions that need answers.
Are they? Um, no, I don't. I don't. So my brother once glued me to a fridge. Took 3 weeks to get me off. Am I
It
making that
wasn't
up?
3 weeks,
Who
but I can
knows?
totally see your brother super gluing you to the fridge.
If that had actually happened, 100% I would have brought that up a million times before now. That would be money content.
Oh my god.
But what kind of signals could the universe be sending along these galactic filaments? And could they
That's a
support
great
some form of
question.
cosmic intelligence?
uh, what kind of signals? Light, gravity, neutrinos, stuff like that. Could they be doing cosmic intelligence? Probably not. And the word probably is me being
Super
very
generous.
generous.
Yet the vastness of the universe poses challenges.
It
Even
does.
at the speed of light, it would take
Yes.
billions of years for a signal to travel across the cosmos to reach our closest galaxy.
Oh, well,
Considering the
that's
immense size,
convenient.
Yes, and that's very important because if you think that a huge network of galactic superclusters and filaments and voids and all of those things, if you look at that and you're like, okay, there are subsystems here that are emitting um, stuff, and that stuff can be interpreted by other subsystems, and it
Hmm.
can react to it. All of that is true, not in the organized way that he's implying, but it is true in a much more trivial way. But the thing is, the speed of light is slow.
Yeah, yeah.
It's people think of the speed of light is the fastest thing that like exists. It's
Inside the universe,
slow.
right?
Yeah, but it's slow. It takes light 8 minutes to reach us from the sun. It takes 8 hours to reach Pluto. The solar system is a tiny little subset of the galaxy. Now we're talking about superclusters communicating with other superclusters. We're talking about round trip times that go into the billions of years. Can you have consciousness if it takes the left side of your brain um, a billion years to get the
Oh yeah,
response to a
for
signal?
one thing to talk to another.
It, right? It's
Yeah,
you already start to run into this sort of thing where it's like, oh, actually the communication time starts to become relevant for large animals like Brachiosaurus.
hmm,
The amount of time it takes for a signal, because it doesn't travel at the speed of light, it requires chemistry.
okay,
Um, the amount of time that it takes for a signal to propagate all the way up to the brain is in an amount of time that starts to become relevant for other shit
right,
already.
yeah,
We're talking about something way huger. It's you you can't make these same approximations. Like, what
yeah,
does it mean for something to think when one neuron is thousands of light years away from another neuron? Does it just mean that thought is way, way, way slower? It could mean that.
yeah.
That's the
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
the
I guess it would be outside of space and time, whatever that means.
it would be
And
space
so we
lass,
don't
time lass, and immaterial.
exactly. Yeah, so we don't know how slow things are in its realm, but like, yeah, no, it doesn't make any sense on the surface.
Oh God, you're gonna make me answer this book.
Well, but Jester gives us so much money, and he has a question, so I don't feel comfortable not answering it.
I do. How goes my secret research into magnetic astronautics? At what point have I ever said that that is what my research, secret or otherwise, is into?
Dr. Kip Davis, who's written no books, has an 8-minute video of you talking about what a wonderful astrophysicist you are.
You're a bad friend. So is Kip.
That's probably
So is
true.
Jester.
As an expansion of the universe, it seems unlikely that any kind of cosmic scale information processing, similar to what happens in brains, is feasible.
True. Yes, exactly
Yeah,
our point.
yeah.
She considered the possibility of hidden connections that could allow for faster signaling.
Oh, for
She
fuck's sake.
suggests
Are we talking about Sabina again? I think so.
Probably. We've got to be.
Sabina does have so Sabina is somebody who takes an interpretation of quantum mechanics that I am not super familiar with, called superdeterminism, seriously. Superdeterminism is a pretty weird interpretation. It is an interpretation that it's not total crack pottery, um, but it's fairly fringe. On the other hand, most physicists don't even think about these problems at all. She takes them seriously, and I do respect that. She takes sort of more fundamental questions about, yeah, stupid determinism.
What is
So
that?
it's okay. I'm gonna bastardize it, but
Sure.
the I the idea that when you do an experiment that somehow it knows what you're doing. The word "know" is the bastardization part of that, and you basically end up with correlations that do not obey typical like causality. I'm not capable of steel manning it in a way that I think that she would accept, and I actually have been meaning to read her papers on this subject because I do think that the topic of the foundations of quantum mechanics are fascinating
Mhm.
and not sufficiently, not as well studied and appreciated and taken seriously as I would like. Most physicists are shut up and calculate because
Yeah.
the vast majority of the time,
Yeah.
that's going to
Yeah.
get you to the
Yeah.
thing that matters.
So, Cuneiform guy says that she's backed away from super determinism.
I
Is
could believe that.
Was that like in favor of her grift, or just did
Uh,
she?
I I I also have never really understood what super determinism is, and this is my field, noise ending. So,
Fair enough.
um, it yeah, I don't entirely know. It's the way that I like do understand it, it just doesn't make sense. But I think that that's probably an indication that my understanding could use some refinement more than in addition to it not making sense, more than it just obviously not making sense.
Fair.
That mechanisms like quantum entanglement or other types of non-local connections could enable longer-range computations. These phenomena suggest that particles and systems can be instantaneously linked regardless of the distance between them, as if they are intricately connected.
The exact words that they used when saying that point are technically correct. The implication that they're driving at, I think, is problematic. I think that the implication that they're driving at is that you can have information transfer.
Oh,
This
oh.
is a very subtle point about entanglement. It is not in measurement independence doesn't exist. Yes, it's the idea that even the choices we make, Leo is describing superdeterminism here.
Ah.
Um, Even the choices we make in setting up our experiments are determined by okay, so you're saying that the deterministic phase is before that. Okay, that makes more sense. Um, it's it starts to get unfalsifiable. Um, so yeah.
This interconnectedness hints at a deeper level of organization within the universe, transcending the boundaries of space and time. In a section titled Everything is Connected, she explains how a universe with non-local connections would make sense for various reasons. If these speculations hold true, the universe might be full of tiny portals connecting seemingly distant places.
Is that what that paragraph says? Well, I mean, seemingly distant.
Yeah, he's not
Yeah, actually,
showing.
it looks like it might be because if these speculations are correct, the universe might be full with off-screen that connect seemingly distant places. And the start and end of that sentence was exactly what he said. So, hopefully, the middle is also, yeah.
Let me be clear that there is absolutely zero evidence that something connections exist, or that if
Yep.
they existed, they'd indeed allow something think, oh, I wish
Yeah.
I saw the rest of that. But we cannot
Physicists
rule this possibility out.
Yeah, she and that's exactly what he's going the narrator is going to point out that she says.
true, the
Uh,
universe might be full of tiny portals connecting seemingly distant places. Physicists
wow.
Fotini
That
Markopoulou
sounds like a leap.
It does sound like a leap.
and Lee Smolin estimated that our universe could have as many as 10 to the power of 360 of such non-local connections. And since these connections
Portals?
are non-local,
Well, he switched his language there because I don't think they
Yeah.
would use the word portals. Non-local connections, depending on how loose you're going to be with that, there's a lot because entanglement is a little funky. It but it's funky in a very particular way. Um, that does not imply information transfer, but like really seems like it when you look at it at first. It I think it really does seem like that. But it's not. It This is not a
Okay.
topic that I have the ability to give a super useful intuition for because understanding the building blocks of kind of the argument um, requires understanding quantum mechanics already.
Okay. Fair.
And like this kind of concept was part of the idea behind the very famous paper that Einstein, Pulaski, and Rosen published in, I think, 1938, called "Is Quantum Mechanics a Complete Model of Reality?" or something like that. And they talk about spooky action at a distance. I don't know if that term is actually used in that paper. I can't remember. But like the first author of that paper is Einstein. Einstein, you may have heard of him.
From being Einstein.
I've spent time and gone through like paragraph by paragraph and taken detailed notes on like my understanding of what it means. And you can't just gloss over the subtleties of it. And also in 1938, Einstein,
Oh,
I'm pretty sure, would have come to conclusions about experimental outcomes that
Leo was saying
then later
Einstein,
were,
Podolsky, and Rosen.
yeah, Podolsky. Yeah, Einstein, Podolsky, and Rosen. Rosen, I believe, was one of Einstein's like graduate students at the. I don't remember the details, but it's a very interesting paper. It pointed out some predictions of quantum mechanics that seem and are very unintuitive. This is not news to us now. It wasn't even news then, but it was potentially the most like obvious, like, oh, this really is at odds with most of our intuitions of it, because the question is, can it be a description of physical reality?
Mm-hmm.
And I believe the answer to that, according to the definitions they give in the paper, which is very good because they give definitions to these things, I think the answer is no, it can't be considered that. I also think the answer is that no theory can.
Really?
Which is not an answer that is super great to hear.
Well, I mean, I opened up with, no one definition. So I guess you can have your no one theory.
Yeah.
And so Brian Stevens asked, if it affects X and X has a locality, can it be said to be non-local, or can we instead say it originated non-locally?
That's exactly the core of the point. Um it it seems to me that the state of affairs changes non-locally, but not the information content of that state of affairs. When you do a non-local measurement between entangled particles, they are separated by a large enough distance that light can't go back and forth fast enough to explain what I'm about to describe.
Okay.
If you make a measurement over here, you know, and it is true that a measurement before light has time to go over there, to go over to the other subsystem,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it is already set in stone what the outcome of that other experiment will get. However, that is, you cannot use this to send a message. It is impossible to use that to send a message because you don't control what you're going to measure in system A. Once you measure something in system A, you know what system B will come out with.
Okay.
But if you measure up in system A, maybe you know that system B will also measure up, but before you measured up, you didn't know if it was going to be up or down. So you don't, and you have no control over that. So you can't use that to send a message of, oh, by the way, my particle is pointed up. You can't use that because you have no control on if your particle is going to point up or point down. So all you can send is, my particle is going to point. Yeah, we already fucking knew that. That's how physics works. But you have, in order to write a message, you need to be able to communicate that, yes, the thing I'm writing down on my piece of paper is up. Exactly. It's a statistical correlation. It does not, there is something non-local that's happening, but it is not information transfer. And that is a subtle distinction that I mean, I've given you the best example, the
No,
best
yeah,
explanation I
yeah,
can
yeah.
give.
I get it. I get it. It sounds like we need another episode of Physics is Hard.
Physics is so hard.
Local, they wouldn't be affected by the universe's expansion. In comparison, the human brain has around 10 to the power of 15 connections. While
Does that sound right? I don't fucking know.
I don't fucking know. I'm not
highly
a
speculative,
biologist. Oh, let's just let him have that. But because he needs numbers to make things. I'll stop being lazy. So wait, you said the human brain has.
Yes. 10 to the 15. Leo, what you're saying, yes. You know information about what the other states will be. They don't. You can't use it to send information to them, which you understand.
100 trillion. Oh wait, no.
That
100
is
trillion to 1,000 trillion? No, 1 quadrillion. Why is it saying 1,000 trillion? It's one
about
quadrillion.
100 trillion is 10 to the 14, and a quadrillion is 10 to the 15. So the numbers
Okay.
do check out.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's funny that he can do a Google search on that and nothing else.
Yeah.
this concept could potentially explain recent observations of mysterious synchronizations between structures on opposite sides of the universe. For instance, a study in the Astrophysical Journal from 2019 found a surprising coherence in the movements of galaxies millions of light years apart, too distant for gravitational forces to account for. Similarly, in 2014, the European Observatory reported strange alignments in the rotations of supermassive black holes across vast distances.
Oh, it's totally your field.
There is a more recent paper that noticed that there seems to be, at least, a surprising correlation over large astrophysical distances in galaxy rotation rates. Instead of being like kind of 50-50, if you kind of take a chunk and then look at another chunk, it's like 60-40. The other precise papers that they're talking about, I don't know. These are the types of things that do come up. That doesn't mean that everything we know about physics is wrong. Most of the time, future observations end up being like, oh, that ended up being an artifact of the data that we had available, the precise method that they used to analyze that data, and basically those two things playing off each other in various ways. Typically. Not always. I mean, this is like dark energy was figured out by somebody realizing, like, wait, everything, that doesn't make sense. And then they checked out other things, and it did end up being like a really weird, wacky thing. But just because good physicists that are doing their job exactly right publish a paper that supports a particular conclusion doesn't mean that conclusion is right, because they don't have all the information yet, and there may have been one, I'm really not that up to date, Miranda. I'm really not. I don't know these papers. The thing is, like, black hole. I mean, how many black holes do we actually see? and know which way they're rotating. I don't
All
know what
right.
it
We'll,
is.
we'll
I'd
get
be
Professor
I'd be
Parks back on to set you straight.
I'd be very surprised if it was over 10,000. I'd be kind of surprised if it was over 1,000. I don't know.
along with coherence among distant quasars, bright galactic cores. These findings suggest possible non-local connections between systems in different parts of the universe, and they appear too numerous to be mere coincidences. If valid, this implies that the universe could serve as a platform for the kind of large-scale computation or thinking proposed by Hossenfelder.
That
It,
sounds like a non sequitur.
it's a reach built on a reach built on a reach. That like they an entire if they had devoted an entire video to the last 15 seconds of content, that would have been better.
Okay.
But they didn't.
No.
Hossenfelder notes that, despite sounding far-fetched, the notion of an intelligent universe is consistent with our current understanding.
I would not word it that way. I would say it's not obviously manifestly inconsistent. Other than the light speed thing, which does seem obviously and manifestly inconsistent, in my opinion.
However, she acknowledges that the theory is presently untestable, categorizing it more as philosophy than science.
Which is why this article was in Time magazine.
Oh my God, I missed that part.
And I will say, if Time magazine reached out to me to write an article, I would say yes. And there would be
just
things
screw
that
the pooch. Like, oh my God.
I would write it as though I was writing for Time magazine.
Okay.
But I would say yes because fucking I am not completely immune to the grift response.
I don't know. I probably should have pulled it up because I'm not even convinced that he got her bad article correct.
That's totally fair. Sorry.
Are you pulling it up?
Yet,
I was, but I realized I had to press play.
one may wonder if it truly lies beyond the realm of scientific inquiry. Consciousness is a fascinating...
Time. Sabina. One article. 2022. I don't know if it's going to let me go through the whole thing because I presumably there's a paywall. Too big to think. Oh, this was the whole point that
wow,
they
we
didn't
just
even
brought
spend
that
a whole
up.
lot.
Yeah.
Exactly. And this is one of those things where Sabina has a lot of issues, but she is a physicist.
Yeah. Okay for that.
And
okay. He conveniently left this part out.
Right? This means optimistically that the universe might have managed 1,000 exchanges between its nearest neurons since the Big Bang. One neuron on the farthest side of your brain can communicate with a neuron on the opposite side of your brain way more than 1,000 times in 5 seconds. I think. I don't actually know how it works, but...
in a day, yes, absolutely. I don't know. It's
I think that this was the reason she wrote this article. More of my colleagues are out there with me on social media debunking fake science news. We paint a one-sided picture. Science has more to say than nope, you can't. That, I think, is why she wrote this article. She's trying to reach out to the people who only hear the no, you're wrong and dumb, and
probably are, but
yes, they probably are, but that doesn't mean that you need to always say that, right?
I guess you could switch up how you say that, but you could. I don't know. But yeah, I like that it also opens our mind to new possibilities, new sources of wonder, and new ways to make sense of our existence. Exactly. I agree with all that. And exactly. I agree with having a theory or a concept or whatever. and trying to test it out. A lot of times, I say this all the time, you learn so much from failure. Why didn't this? Why was this wrong? And scientists encounter that a lot.
Yes. Find the video again. Why is it not?
Fascinating but elusive phenomenon. It is difficult to specify what it is, what it does, or why it has evolved. Defining consciousness precisely is a challenging task, as it might not be limited to humans alone. It may extend to other living organisms and even non-living systems.
Consciousness?
Consciousness.
So, I guess there is kind of an argument about whether or not animals have consciousness, and I'm like, I think that's obvious.
It
But
depends on your
again,
definition.
I think it depends on your definition. I was just about to say that. Um, I say yes. Like, so,
I
but
also say yes. I think that if you this is actually a point, hopefully, that he's about to make more clearly right now.
well, he thinks the universe is consciousness, so he has no problem extending it to animals. There's also questions about whether it can be, and I talked about this earlier when we were talking about panpsychism, whether or not it can be extended to like rocks and inanimate objects. I don't know that I'm willing to extend consciousness to plants. Sentience, possibly.
Okay.
To quote Thomas Edison, it seems that every atom is possessed by a certain amount of primitive intelligence.
That I
This statement reflects
Okay.
the broad scope of consciousness, suggesting its presence in elements beyond traditional living entities.
Yeah, you know who
Does
isn't an
it?
authority on the nature of consciousness?
This guy?
Thomas Edison.
Oh, yeah, he did.
He's talking about Thomas Edison.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
really?
quoting Tom. Yeah, he's quoting Thomas Edison. See,
Oh my
It seems
God.
that
to quote Thomas
every
Edison,
atom is possessed by a
this is a quote from Thomas Edison.
I
It
mean,
seems that every atom is possessed by a certain amount of primitive intelligence. I think that is a remarkably unhelpful way of thinking about things. I like literally, I do not think that there is any context that I can think of in which that is a more helpful rather than hurtful way of trying to think about the system. It
yeah,
just
no,
isn't.
agree.
certain amount of primitive intelligence. This statement reflects the broad scope of consciousness, suggesting its presence in elements beyond traditional living entities. While the conventional
I think it's
perspective depicts
wrong.
consciousness as an individual and isolated occurrence, the emerging field of the Global Consciousness Project delves into the intriguing possibility of a collective or interconnected consciousness.
Wait a minute. The Global Intelligence Project.
Global Consciousness
Or
Project.
I think I know what that is.
Oh God, I'm glad I don't.
Oh my God. Yeah. So, I've been talking about parapsychology, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or, I'm sorry. Do you know what parapsychology is? Or for those that don't, it's the psychology of psychic phenomena.
Like
All right.
ESP.
Yeah, get your hand off the play button. This is a whole thing.
Okay.
So I I looked into this once, and if memory serves, they take a random number generator,
Oh boy. RNGesus.
and like they're just on, and so they're like, oh, the numbers, they just come randomly, and so their purpose is to figure out what, like, consciousness and like higher order things, like things outside of humans, like if it's almost like trying to a scientific study for the secret.
Okay.
Like, if you have your attention on something, can you manifest it? And so they're saying that when people focused on a coin flip and it's just like, I want this to be heads, it came up heads more often than chance. And with the random
I
number generators, they have, I think, about 70 around the world now. They said that when there's like major events, the numbers are less random.
I call
And
bullshit.
yeah. Um,
Yeah,
and do you know what that means?
no.
Neither do they. And they say that. We
I
don't know what this means, but it
that
means
I res-
something because
I
it's happening. And I'm
uh,
like, it's a random number generator. Do you
uh,
know how faulty those things are? Like, we don't know what the fuck you're measuring. Oh my God.
yeah, so I have a slightly different perspective than I think yours.
Okay.
If what they're saying they actually measured, I think would be interesting. I
Sure.
don't know what it would mean, but it would be worth the
Neither do
further
they.
study. I doubt that they're actually measuring what they say they're measuring. I just don't believe that. I don't believe that if you actually control well enough and look at processes that are a priori and other people would agree random or ostensibly random would there be their point. I just don't think that you actually do get these things. And I think that if you found a correlation, it would mean that the software that you're using to actually post select the things is actually slightly faulty. It, doing random number generation is very hard to do properly.
Hmm.
Possibly,
Hmm.
depending on your ontology of physics, impossible. It's possibly impossible.
Through a computer, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Through a
I mean,
computer, it's
yeah, I mean, it's one thing if there's
definitely
just a bunch of guys in a room throwing dice, but like
yeah,
through a
yeah.
computer, yeah, much harder.
Yeah, because through a computer, what you have to do, you have to inject randomness into a deterministic system. It's
Right.
very hard to do.
Yeah.
You do it statistically. And sometimes you mess up and you have an algorithm that for decades you think produces random numbers. But then if you look at like the third digit and you square it and you subtract 15 and you plot it, it's suddenly like, oh, there's a pattern. There should never be a pattern in random numbers that like survives from one large sample to another large
Yeah.
sample.
Yeah. And so when I'm looking here, a parapsychology experiment utilizing a global network of hardware random number generators to detect if collective human consciousness interacts with physical systems. It aims to identify anomalies in RNG or random number
Yeah.
generators data during major world events, suggesting widespread emotional attention can affect randomness. The methodology is around 70 EEGs.
What is that?
Nodes, RNGs are scattered globally, continuously recording data. So I guess that means they're always on. Goal to analyze whether large scale shared experiences, and they've measured. So when they said that they were less random was like during the 9/11 attack, like 9/11, the death of Princess Diana. And then it says major celebrations. I'm not sure what that means. But that they influence these devices more than chance would dictate. The project reported a statistically significant 7 sigma deviation from randomness over 23 years. I haven't seen any of these papers. I'd really like to see the numbers on this and the way the experiment was set up. I mean, because you can say a lot of things, but
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. I've heard about this through like woo or new age videos on YouTube. So I know of it. I can't say I've looked into it. Um, Evolution, the project transmitted to the Heart Math Institute to focus on how collective heart focused positive interactions can influence this global grid, God, and promote positive, cohesive change. I guess nothing came of that. And the scientific view, while some researchers consider this evidence of a global mind, skeptics also often criticize the methodology. Hey, I guess it makes me a skeptic, claiming
You don't say.
anomalies are due to data dredging or statistical errors rather than consciousness. God damn, I said that without reading it, just off the cuff.
Right? So so there's a website, random.org, which I have here.
Okay.
And they make the point about how in computer programs you use pseudo random numbers. This is good enough almost all the time. Um, but it may not be random in like a true way. For the record, neither are dice rolls. I like
Uh,
that depends on the position it's in your hand and stuff like. It doesn't matter.
I get that, but I mean, when you
What
think about the whole thing, it's as close to randomness as we get outside of
e-
like a coin flip, which
exactly
again
what?
has the same issues. But
So what they do
mhm,
at this website is they have like atmospheric detectors. They
okay,
basically put something in the wind that like measures something to like a whole lot of decimal places, and then they take just the last digit, which is just totally scrambled because that has to do with all of these. If you took like the 10th digit back, it would still be like really scrambled. They take like the last digit and they combine a bunch of these from like different places all over, you know, in different things, and then and they have like a whole thing, like they have a statistics page about how random the actual thing is behaving right now, and like they've thought about this a lot. If this organization came out and said, yo, in the 24 hours before this assassination attempt on a major world leader, our number only came up with ones, I would be like,
that means
what?
something. Yeah,
Doesn't happen.
yeah. I so yeah, that this is what they're citing as potential as evidence of consciousness outside of the brain.
Yeah. And these numbers should be random in principle due to quantum mechanics at this level.
Okay.
Like they should be actually fundamentally random based on our understanding of physics.
And for Northern Chip, no, I have a alt account that I filter all my nonsense through, so that when I want to watch real shit, I come to this channel, and then my alt account gives me nothing but bullshit. It's great.
Sounds great.
Yep, yep. Gotta what do you call it? Configure the algorithm.
Yeah.
That transcends individual boundaries. This shift in focus opens avenues for exploring the broader and interconnected aspects of consciousness beyond the traditional confines of individual experience. When discussing the human brain, consciousness typically refers to the communication and firing between neurons within the brain, as well as
Okay.
the functions influenced by the rest of the body. However, in a
Well,
broader context,
I mean, yeah, it's not so.
It's not wrong.
It's not wrong. We don't know where consciousness. I would say where. Yeah, we can't just say like this is consciousness. But
It,
if we're talking about sensory perception, it's not going to be like located in one place. But
the brain's a network. I mean,
yeah,
if you chop out a chunk of the brain, it's going to
you're gonna have
affect
issues.
parts. Yeah, it's going to affect even other parts that aren't mostly in that chunk.
Yeah,
Like I know that vision is, for reasons that are not anatomically obvious, like mostly handled in the back, right?
hmm
Um, so if you give somebody a lobotomy, it shouldn't mostly affect vision, but it will. It will a little bit, because guess what? You can't scramble somebody's prefrontal cortex and not have it affect everything else.
we've done that a lot. Lots of information from lobotomies, with sadly, which eventually led to us not doing those anymore. But goddamn,
I do like 4 a week.
no, that yeah, that actually that tracks.
Baseball, huh?
suggest consciousness can be understood simply as a recognizable experience. The basic definition of consciousness, as per the Oxford Dictionary of Psychology, describes it as the normal mental condition of the waking state of humans,
The waking state of humans.
characterized by the experience of perceptions, thoughts, feelings, awareness of the external world, and often in humans, but not necessarily in other animals.
Yeah, and this is what I was saying earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
There's, I don't know why there's a debate on this. I
Right?
think it's just obvious, like so if you want to talk about, and I know I and Brie were talking about this a few weeks ago, like what is intelligence, and how do we measure that in other animals? Because it's like if I went underwater, I'd look really stupid to a dolphin, you know. But I think it's a no-brainer.
Well, okay, you heard it here first, chat. Maya thinks that consciousness does not require a brain. It is, quote, a no-brainer. You heard it first here. Consciousness has no brain. Fuck you, Maya.
Right.
However,
I mean,
science-
he put in a whole video explaining this, so obviously, he even brought numbers to the table.
What is number, though?
Scientists lack a unified theory of consciousness, and there's much we don't understand about its nature and origins. When discussing both organic and inorganic entities,
Okay, so consciousness is like, when in doubt. Okay, so consciousness is a part of us. It evolved with us. So it was beneficial in our evolution. I think it's really clear that it aided in finding food and avoiding prey. So I mean, I don't know. I think that's pretty much I'm pretty sure everybody's on the same page about why it evolved. So
I don't know that I would go that far, but everybody
Okay.
whose opinion matters.
I mean,
is
I would say
something.
okay, everybody. Like the bulk of I would say the bulk of scientists would agree with me there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
there is no consensus among scientists on which possess consciousness and which do not. Additionally, the concept of cosmic interconnectedness transcends the physical realm, implying
Does it? I mean, cosmos feel. That's a very physical term, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
subtle and intricate relationships.
And then what does he mean by cosmos?
Fucking nothing.
Does he mean the universe, or
Who knows?
God. Okay.
Beyond direct observation or measurement. Some philosophical and spiritual traditions propose the existence of deeper, non-physical connections among entities in the universe, such as a shared consciousness.
Okay. And some traditions don't.
Yeah.
Are they? Which one is right, and how do we know? God damn.
So my understanding is that the universe was formed by a blood clot somewhere.
I heard we're all in a turtle's back.
Yeah, but what is that turtle on?
What, the turtle is time last, space last material.
So you're saying the turtle's on another turtle?
Yeah, there you go. Oh, isn't it turtles all the way down?
It's turtles all the way down.
Oh God.
Or a universal energy. The implications of cosmic interconnectedness for the conscious universe are profound. If we consider consciousness as an inherent aspect of the cosmos, then the interconnectedness of all...
Why would we do that?
Why
would we do that? Same fucking page, Maya. Why would we do that? Are like, and you notice that like the criticism that we have isn't even that's obviously wrong. It's why would we?
Yeah.
If you give a reason why, like we can play your ball game.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to do an internal critique with that, but it's just like, how do we get here?
they're they don't have an internal system that's coherent enough to critique.
Things suggests a fundamental unity and interdependence of consciousness itself. One consequence of this uncertainty is that we cannot definitively assert that other organisms or even inanimate objects lack consciousness.
That's true. I would say that we can almost definitively assert that they do have consciousness. Some
Wait,
of them.
rocks?
That's why I added some of them at the end. Like dolphins are conscious.
Yeah, yeah.
Dogs are conscious.
Yeah, but
I think.
I'm saying inanimate objects lack.
Yeah, exactly.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I'm no, inanimate objects, no. Which is why but he's saying that like we can't say whether or not other animals and also inanimate objects have consciousness. I would say you're right. We can't say that they don't have consciousness. In fact, I would say that we can say that they almost certainly do. Some of them.
I mean, again, I don't know what definition you would use that would not encompass other animals.
You would use one that has human in the definition.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Yeah, duh, Maya.
Is that we cannot definitively assert that other organisms or even inanimate objects lack consciousness. While humans can relate to animals and infer some level of consciousness based on their behavior and expressions, such as in dogs and cats, we cannot dismiss the possibility of consciousness in entities like
Give a
rocks.
definition of consciousness.
Actually, I think I think that he's given more of a definition than a lot of people do, but it would have been I don't know when in the video it would have been.
No, yeah, that's fair.
And it's a little hand wavy and loosey goosey,
Right,
but I
yeah.
do think that they tried to address this issue.
Yeah, I feel like he did
and it is
try,
famously
and
hard.
I'm just like, what definition do you give that encompasses the universe but not a puppy?
A bad one.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, there we go.
The ocean or the night sky, just because we do not relate to them in the same way. This is where the philosophical concept of panpsychism becomes relevant. This
Called it.
I mean, if he was just like, if he would just
You
say
called it,
that,
Bonnie.
up front, like, I'm going to take it's not even panpsychism. This is a parasite psych, like, kind of video. Just no evidence, no facts, it's just, somebody said it
but
earlier.
facts
It's
are a
like,
myth and
what
truth
if
is a lie.
it's doing a lot of heavy lifting?
Yeah, true.
claims consciousness is inherent in even the tiniest pieces of matter, an idea that suggests the fundamental building blocks of reality have conscious experience. Crucially, it implies consciousness could be found throughout the universe.
Fundamental building blocks of life have conscious...
Of reality. Not of life.
What are the fundamental building blocks? Because if he's talking about panpsychism, there's like versions of panpsychism that think that atoms have consciousness.
Yeah, that is what he's saying.
Oh, okay.
He's saying that the fundamental... I think that he's basically saying that consciousness is part of the fundamental laws of physics of the universe.
Yeah. And we're not going to get to it, but I think he makes more of a case for that at the end. Not a case for it, but you can understand that that's what he's alluding to.
Yeah.
This is bad. Like, even as like if you're trying to get circumstantial evidence in a court case, this couldn't get you to a guilty verdict on.
Well, okay, a guilty verdict is beyond a reasonable doubt. It's a very high burden, but fair. It wouldn't get you to probable cause.
No.
At a very basic level, wrote the Canadian philosopher William Seeger, the world is awake. This concept challenges the conventional view that consciousness solely emerges from interactions among neurons in the brain. Proponents of panpsychism suggest that, similar to fundamental physical properties like mass and charge present in all matter, consciousness is also an inherent property of matter. They propose that consciousness...
So there's mass, charge, and consciousness?
I suppose so.
Well, you're the physicist.
Well, if there is mass and charge, then those things we can derive based on symmetries from Noether's theorem. The conservation of mass energy we can derive from the time translation invariance of the physical laws. The conservation of charge you can also derive from a symmetry. I don't immediately know how to do it myself. But it arrives in the same mathematical framework, which you can derive conservation laws from things a priori. That is a surprise, and it was a surprise when it was discovered. It's very elegant. You can't do that with consciousness. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. Why do you like this?
That's a great question. That's we just hit 2 hours, so that's a great question to to get out and go out on. Why? Yeah, just why? Why?
Are you like this?
So are you? Have you been convinced, the weasels, that we live in a brain?
I don't know what you're talking about. I've already forgotten everything that this video said.
Yeah, I like that. That's yeah, yes. What is self-preservation?
Exactly. Exactly.
Do you have anything coming up?
I no. I am going to be on BSS next week twice. Two different BSSs.
Two different BSSs. That's
Yeah.
cool. Let me see. What do I want to do?
My beard is coming out nice. Look at that.
Yeah, I was talking to Dr. Josh earlier. He has quite a beard.
Do we have to have a beard fight? You should get him
I
on
don't
the
know. Hey,
show.
chat, who would win the beard fight between Tap and
Dr. Josh.
Dr. Josh? Yeah. So he actually does shit with his beard. He doesn't
Grooming?
look
Yeah,
like it.
I don't.
Yeah. All that jazz. He doesn't look like a caveman. It's
I absolutely look like a caveman. I am a highly unrefined person in my appearance.
anything. Okay. Let's see.
What about you?
So
What do you have coming up? Sorry.
no, I'm interested in this. Who wins the beard fight? One for Dr. Josh, two for the Weasels. All right. And so I don't think I have anything coming up this week. I'm trying to see, because usually I do it before now and I totally forgot. Trying to see if anybody's on that I can send everybody to. All
Well,
right.
hold on. Which one is one or two for me?
One is Dr. Josh, two is the Weasels.
Okay, so Kip and the real Melly are on my side.
Weird.
I feel like Kip just got the ordering wrong. I feel like Kip's about to. Maybe not.
Maybe Kip just forgot. Or you know what? Earlier today, I was telling Kip that Dr. Josh's beard was better than his. So maybe
Oh,
fuck
okay.
Josh.
I do not have an opinion on that. Because different beards for different weirds.
Nobody. Okay. Okay. We got some people coming in here. She's like,
That is
what is Dr.
solid.
Josh, guys? Don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Aunt Jur is not a fan of the Vandy beard.
I mean, maybe if you trimmed it a little,
No! Sorry.
fair enough.
Is it though?
No, but
Or is it an expression of a fundamental childishness in the everything that is me?
yeah, but I'm used to that part of you. I'm trying to
Well,
think
yeah,
if
that's
I
true.
didn't. I don't have any clips or anything today. All right, let's see. Is anybody on?
Me neither. That's why I never clip my beard.
You never do. Hmm.
My voting is not at all reflective of my personal feelings, says Dr. Kip.
That is so funny. All right. No, I don't think I have anything coming up this week. I do have some stuff scheduled, I guess, later in the month and in April. But we will be back on tomorrow. And look at that. Everybody but you, Tap. Everybody but you.
I don't own scissors.
You don't own scissors?
I don't
Do
know if
you
they
know a
are.
barber?
No. I'm pretty sure the only barber that I know, I think he died. He was like
God.
87.
Did you give him a heart attack when he saw your face?
No, I avoided him the last few years because I didn't want to do that to him. For exactly the reason you're implying.
All right.
I can, but I won't find barbers on Yelp. I can do it, but I won't.
Yeah, I mean, it's something you could physically do.
I've by the way, I've trimmed my beard multiple times since the last time I cut my hair. Okay, so which was in 2019. I'm like a cartoon character.
You really are. All right. Yeah, so we will be back next week with someone, and I hope you all come back. Good night, all.
Night.